What is going on, guys? I wanted to talk about something different today, something I haven't really talked about before. And that would be about gaming. I essentially playing video games, but more specifically with this video, because it's going to be a short video. Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty. I'm in my mid 20s, right? And I've been gaming since, or actually for 20 years now. Actually, 20 years I've had a controller in my hand gaming. And of course, I started whenever I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, right? And I grew up and I'm playing COD 2, 3, 4, like the old Call of Duties, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys remember that these predate World at War. And obviously, World at War was a great Call of Duty as well. And that beyond the point, I've been playing for a really long time. I loved Call of Duty. I remember, shoot, I was in middle school, and Black Ops 2 came out, right? And of course, all of you guys remember Black Ops 2 was amazing, right? And then you have Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 was incredible too. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, absolutely phenomenal games. So, and even before that, you get the Modern Warfare entries, which are, and I'll admit, I was a little young for those, and I did play them. I played Modern Warfare 2. I played Modern Warfare 3. And, I absolutely love those games. Those games are phenomenal, right? Which leads us into modern day, right? We got Black Ops 7 out right now. Black Ops 7 is terrible. It's trash. I haven't even played it. I've watched the videos online. I've seen like the comparisons to Brain Rot and stuff, right? And I'm not even gonna get into like some of these other creators. I'll get into like the stats or the Steam charts or any of this. Obviously, they're very damning, for Call of Duty this year. And beyond that, it's not really about statistics for me, because obviously I can look at the game and say that's not really a game I'm interested in. But it has to be said that the game has, it's been like this for way longer than a lot of us want to admit. And honestly, it started with Advanced Warfare, and a lot of us don't want to admit that, right? We grow up playing Call of Duty, right? So we have Black Ops 2, and then Black Ops 3, and got Advanced Warfare, and all of this. But in Advanced Warfare specifically, they introduced supply drops, and that changed Call of Duty permanently. I don't know about you guys, but I remember playing Advanced Warfare, and I spent way too much money. Way too much money. And basically what it was is that you could get cosmetics for like your outfit, your helmet, your gun, and you could get like, I don't really remember the name from it, but you could get like certain guns out of these boxes that maybe had like a different perk or something different about them. And they obviously, were aesthetically different too. They looked different, which was, I don't know. It was a kind of a cool idea, but the way that they implemented it didn't really work. And also, I want to mention, while we're on Advanced Warfare, right, they did take a risk, because that was the first game where they implemented the jetpacks, and a lot of people did not like it. I loved it. I loved Advanced Warfare. I loved the zombies. I loved all of it. But again, it's beyond the point. And again, I don't want to focus on the stats of it, but what I want to say is basically what I feel like they're doing wrong right now. And obviously, everyone has their own opinions. This is going to be my opinion. Right, but what they are doing wrong right now is that they have extrapolated any essence of creativity whatsoever from this genre, from this franchise. Guys, I mean, I know for a fact this video is not going to get very many views, and so obviously a COD developer isn't watching it, but I'm going to pretend that they are. Guys, you are sitting on billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions to the exponent of like 28 more dollars. And all you have to do is this. And I don't even know if this is doable in today's day and age, but basically, the reason that Call of Duty, the reason that Black Ops 7 has failed, the reason that Black Ops 6 didn't perform very well, and obviously Black Ops 6, I think, still sold like 30 million copies, and that was the idea, right? Call of Duty even came out and said, well, we're basically too big to fail. Well, obviously you weren't too big to fail, but also with these other games that have been coming out lately, like, I guess since 2019, right? Modern Warfare, that was kind of the start for whatever Call of Duty is now. And I know personally, I actually didn't mind COD 2019. I think it was just Modern Warfare. I love the 2v2s. And I actually felt like the identity of Call of Duty was still very much there. And even with the introduction of Warzone, and I'll get into Warzone in a minute. But obviously it leads you into Black Ops 7 because, like, whenever you really get to the nitty gritty, there are so many options for not just settings, but not just time periods, but all of these different factors. I mean, guys, they literally made Black Ops 2. So let me give you the implications of what a Black Ops 2 games mean. Obviously, you're like, well, Black Ops 2, in essence, was still grounded. It was still this, it was still that. But at the end of the day, they were taking imaginative leaps to create new guns, new score streaks, new maps, new vehicles, all of this different stuff, right? They are using their creative element of their brain, right? And I don't believe that exists anymore with really anyone, especially people making video games, right? But they're using their creativity. And a lot of you guys are like, well, we could have a Call of Duty game set here in Vietnam, or Call of Duty game set in the 90s, the Call of Duty game set, during 2001, 9/11, Twin Towers, George Bush, right? I saw that idea. Basically, you like go throughout the campaign and then you find a way to divert the planes from going, and then like the credits roll. Right, and as you're watching the credits roll, the airplane misses the tower, it gets diverted, but then they just fall down anyways. Right. So there's a lot, but obviously, again, that's grounded. That's going back in time. It's going into something like, for instance, like Cold War. Obviously, they took creative liberties with that, but it's set in a real time period, and it primarily uses real weapons. So what could they do? Right, Call of Duty is in a situation where the loot boxes, right, in Advanced Warfare, but I really remember it picking up, and I think it was either World War II or Vanguard, where the guns started getting ridiculous, and they were like anime guns and this and that, and then obviously it develops from there. But and here's the deal. I actually kind of do think that some of these skins are cool, but for the price that they're selling them at, which is usually like 20, 24 bucks, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 had really awesome gun customization skins, right? But you could pay like $2.99 or $1.99 for it in like the skin lobby. If you're going to add skins, I don't know anyone that's going to complain about a system like that. And obviously, maybe it doesn't make you as much money, but you're not making any money off of Black Ops 7. So, and that brings me into my next point. I keep saying this, I keep almost getting there. What would be the saving grace for Call of Duty? What could Call of Duty do? I'll tell you exactly what Call of Duty could do. Call of Duty can maybe not even use their imagination whatsoever for the next 3 years. And what they could effectively do is remaster Black Ops 1, remaster Black Ops 2. And I don't really believe that Black Ops 3 needs a remaster, but they could very easily, very, very, very easily revamp Black Ops 3. And here's what I mean by that. So Black Ops 1 remaster. Basically, all of the content that you got from Black Ops 1, including the DLCs, would be there at launch. So that includes zombie maps, that includes multiplayer maps, all of it. It's all there at launch. And basically what the yearly cycle looks like for this game is that basically everything, like I said, all of the DLCs are already there, so it is a new set of DLCs. You get like 4 new zombie maps, you get a whole bunch of new multiplayer maps, right, that fit the theme of Black Ops 1. Moving into Black Ops 2, same deal, right? You start off, you've already got like Origins, you've got Buried, you've got all of the zombie maps, you've got all of the multiplayer maps, and then you just add more, right? And then, of course, with Black Ops 3, it's like you would need to deviate, you would need to take a different course. Black Ops 3 is a different game. Right, obviously the graphics, if you played Black Ops 3 recently, you know that the graphics still hold up. The graphics are fine. It's more of a matter of maybe, I don't know. I'm not trying to say like remake Black Ops 3 entirely, but if they remaster BO1 and BO2, it definitely wouldn't hurt to retouch on Black Ops 3. And I'll stop there because I actually don't really like the idea of Black Ops 3 remaster as much as I do maybe a Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 remaster. Right? And a lot of you guys will agree with that. But I would be lying if I said that there was not another way, for them to make this money. And what I actually, and this is what I was mentioning earlier with the creative element, right? We don't have really anyone with the creativity at all in any situation in society anymore, which is why we are where we are. It's kind of why our movies suck. It's why our TV shows suck. It's why a lot of video games suck. That's why pretty much, everything is just boring. It's soulless, right? It's devoid of any life, any passion. I want you to bear with me for a minute. I mean, imagine a Call of Duty. I mean, effectively, where it is set really, really, really far in the future, right? And then really early on in the game, and like the campaign is the one that delves the lore out for the multiplayer and zombies and this and that, right? And you basically are, I don't know, in a big ship or like a big plane or something crazy, and you are trying to enter FTL travel, and something malfunctions, and then you are accidentally, so like, obviously, if you're entering, FTL and you're moving faster than light, you could picture space as like a flat grid. And then basically, if it's flat, you're bending space over on itself. So you can think of it as like a U shape now, and you're poking right through. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Something malfunctions, and then you end up going like, I don't know, 300 years back in time. And now it's like let's say like 1830s, right? 1830s, 1840s, we're getting to like the steam engine and this kind of stuff. And then boom, these guys are here, they're from the future, and they have their ship, their whatever it is that they got there on, and they have to basically reverse engineer all this. Long story short, you would end up with a steampunk style Call of Duty with steampunk weapons, steampunk setting. You could, have a futuristic style maps within this giant ship, or you could, have maps in like an old West, setting. And obviously, if you guys are like, oh, Spider-Man, that idea sucks. I don't want to play a fake Call of Duty and time traveling, and that's totally fair. I get it. And I'm mainly saying all of this to the point of, like I said, if you can make Black Ops 2, and at the time that Black Ops 2 was made, it was like 2012. I don't know, whenever that game came out. Obviously, they were having to use imaginative leaps to come up with the stuff and the source for that game. Right, and it would be the same deal. Like, I've also thought of a Call of Duty, again, really, really far in the future, but you're like kind of set on a desolate planet. Right, so it doesn't, like, obviously it's set in the future, but it's almost like a Halo Reach vibe. Where obviously if you played Halo Reach, you've seen, like the buildings and the architecture, and they're not like super technologically advanced, they're kind of just living there. They're on another planet, they're in a different environment, but the levels of technology aren't crazy. Like even, I don't know why I like this so much, but in Halo Reach, in one of the missions, you can just drive like a normal like truck looking thing. Right, so even then, the technology isn't wild, and basically what I'm trying to say is that like the setting for the game can be anywhere. It's just a matter of how you're going to use your imagination to get this to work. A little bit of background information, whenever they previously tried to do some, I guess, fun stuff, right? Whenever I was growing up, I may have been born after, I don't know. I know that there was a Call of Duty project that was in the works. And basically, they wanted to do it in like the Roman era. It was going to be Roman battles and stuff like that. And I guess the company shut it down because they didn't believe that it was close enough to the source material. Which look where we are now. Look where we are now. And obviously, I don't really know how well that would have worked for a Call of Duty game. But there was another game that was in the works, and it was a third-person shooter. It was a Vietnamese war. Vietnam War. So obviously third person is interesting. I don't really know how that would have gone over, right? But basically all that I'm saying with this is that we have to bring imagination back, right? You look at Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 is already getting dogged because they've allegedly they did. They used AI. They used AI for calling cards, for, maybe elements within the map. The campaign certainly sucks. I mean, it looks like brain rot. That's what it's being compared to. And obviously the source material is non-existent, but here's what whenever I say that, all of the source material, whenever you look at it, is there. Like all of the characters from Call of Duty, they are all there. But the way in which they're using them sucks, and nobody can deny that is just it is the absolute laziest thing that you can do. You cannot be more lazy. You cannot be more greed driven. You cannot be more money hungry than releasing a game like that. Dude, there is a level to it. You ever hear the idea that if a chimpanzee typed at a typewriter for a million years, it would type a symphony? I basically kind of feel like that is what the COD developers have been doing, is that they're just kind of typing away at the metaphorical typewriter, and they're just coming out with BS right now. Right? They're not writing a symphony. They are just the monkeys randomly typing away, and then they take whatever random BS code they get, and they shove it into the game, and it sucks. And again, I don't have to play Black Ops 7 to know that it sucks. I played Call of Duty for 20 years. I know what a good COD game is. And, a lot of you guys, I don't really have much more to say. A lot of you guys wonder why any of this happened. A lot of you guys don't want to admit it, but Call of Duty Ghosts was the actual first Call of Duty that, I don't know, gave me an idea that the franchise was going downhill. And don't get me wrong, Call of Duty Ghosts was great. I love the campaign, but there were elements to the multiplayer that were not good. And I did like a lot of the maps. I like the Michael Myers. I like the Alien, Predator, all of that fun stuff. No other Call of Duty has ever done what Ghost has done. And for those of you who didn't play Ghost, there would be certain maps where, obviously you guys know that if you get 3-4 kills, you can get a UAV. So basically you would have to complete some mission. You get the briefcase that you pick up. And it might be knife someone, and then you knife them, and then you call in a score streak, and it has a chance to be for instance, there was an old map with Michael Myers. You could become Michael Myers. I don't know. There was some really fun stuff. There was a Day of the Dead map, and you became a skeleton guy with 2 revolvers. That was fun. And obviously that stuff is fun, but the downfall of the game really began there. And even more interestingly, that was at the height of the love for Call of Duty Zombies. And I can make a whole separate video on zombies, because zombies is what I primarily played. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really play a lot of multiplayer. I absolutely no-lifed zombies. I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Whenever BO3 came out, I was top 50 in the nation for 2 months in Horizon Drac. I love zombies. And I mean that for rounds survived. I definitely didn't find a out of the map glitch and then stand there with a lightning bow. Anyways, right, so they introduced Extinction at the height of whenever everyone is kind of loving zombies. Everyone's like, we want more zombies. Oh, well, here's Extinction, right, which is basically a undercooked version of the Terminids of what Helldivers eventually gave us, right? And actually, I did go back and play all of the Extinction levels not recently, but in the past year. And I will admit they were fun. But while they were fun, they did not offer the replayability that zombies offered, where you can just go in with your friends and have a good time, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just do it, unless you're playing Garad Kroby or Horizon Drac, or some map where you literally have to sell your left testicle to do anything. Right? Anyways, but beyond that, I know I said I was going to end the video, but no, I'm thinking about this now, and I do want to say this before I do end it, is that Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite, you have done irreparable damage to the gaming industry permanently. I mean, there is no way to overstate the damage that Fortnite has done, because whenever you look at Call of Duty, the franchise, Call of Duty was fine. And then Fortnite came out. And they say, oh, well, Fortnite's making so much money, we need to find a way to emulate that. So what do? You literally screw over Black Ops 4. You don't let it have a campaign, because you focus all of your assets onto Blackout, which is the predecessor. Not predecessor, but I guess predecessor. I don't know anymore. It came before Warzone, right? So obviously you have this undercooked Warzone mode that Loki sucks. You don't have a campaign. Right, and the zombies is also terrible. Don't get me wrong. There were a few good maps. I think 9 was a good map in Black Ops 4. But at the end of the day, they was just really not great. Right? And so obviously, man, I'm getting sweaty and itchy under this thing. Ignore that. But anyways, yeah, so Fortnite comes along, and then Black Ops 4 tries to emulate that, which obviously, translates over to Modern Warfare 2019, which was the first year of Warzone. And I really do believe that this nature of, oh, well, we have stuff that carries over now, and skins carry over, and guns carry over, and you can play as Nicki Minaj, and oh, he's a Homelander skin. By the way, you can play as a Ninja Turtles and shoot a pizza launcher at someone. It's like, bro, what are we doing? And I am totally for fun guns. Like, for instance, I love Black Ops 3. I love the multiplayer in that game, too. I almost got Dark Matter. I almost did. But there were fun weapons released in that game, and obviously you had to get them out of supply boxes. So again, that's an issue, and a lot of people, don't get me wrong, people did have an issue with that. Whenever Black Ops 3, that was like the game that was out, there were a lot of people who had issues with the supply drops, right? So what we see now is that we don't even get supply drops anymore. We just have to buy stuff, right? We're literally spending $70 on a game, but here's a skin that literally does nothing. It turns your gun into a dragon, cool, for $25. Yeah, by the way, that's literally 33% of the price that you just paid for the base game. That makes 0 sense. I don't know how that makes sense to anyone. There is just no way. But anyways, obviously with this emulation, there is so much assets put into Warzone that I believe that Call of Duty as a whole definitely just basically got shot in the back of the head effectively, because what the game is now is basically a subgenre of what the game initially started as. Because I don't know about you guys, whenever I think of Call of Duty, I think of World of War. I think of Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and if I want to get adventurous and think of a Call of Duty that's fun, exciting, and new, I think of, Black Ops 3. And I even want to say this, Infinite Warfare was not the best, but the zombies on Infinite Warfare were great. That's where the big thing that Fortnite screwed over Call of Duty is because you have this focus on Warzone. So what did the developers for COD do? They say, well, instead of just making a good, small, round-based map, what we're going to do is use assets from Warzone, which, by the way, all of that idea came from Fortnite. And instead of giving them good round-based maps, we're just going to throw them out in some big, huge field, and they can drive vehicles, and they can do this, and they can do that, but it's not zombies. Dude, I would literally rather be relegated to only being able to play town on Black Ops 2 if I wanted to play zombies for the rest of my life than ever go and play any of those giant Warzone COD zombie maps, because that is absolutely not what COD Zombies is. Shoot, even Cold War had better zombie maps. Cold War zombie maps, Firebase Z, that was actually pretty fun. I can't lie. I love the Wonder Weapon, right? So it is absolutely unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate what has happened. And I know for me, I haven't bought a COD game since I bought the one in 2019, and then the next one came out, and I was like, I did buy Cold War, and then I don't know what came out after that, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to buy this game anymore because it's not, obviously not what it used to be, right? Which, it does really suck. And going forward, and I will end it with this, is there is very few things that could ever make me buy Call of Duty again. And I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat. You're watching this video because you grew up playing Call of Duty, right? But you maybe haven't played Call of Duty like me for years now. Right, the only thing that could get me back into this franchise is a remastering done correctly, a Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 or both, and/or Treyarch, listen to me. If you remaster Black Ops 2 with all of the content that the game has to date, so basically, again, meaning that all of the DLC content is included, and then you release a whole new DLC schedule, and you don't put a whole bunch of stupid-ass microtransactions, you don't put all of this dumb shit, I promise you, you are going to sell more copies of that game than you have sold any Call of Duty ever in human history. I promise you. I actually am so confident. I am so confident that if you guys were to do that, and I would be right, I'm not even going to say that out loud. We're just going to move on, okay? But also, along with having the remastered, like I mentioned earlier, put freaking imagination into it. You can do anything with this franchise. Again, steampunk. You could go to a planet where it's purely set underwater, and it's like the not Jabba, Jar Jar Binks, right? He lives in that dome bubble area. It's like the entire game. Guys, there is infinite stuff that you could. I mean, shoot, you don't even have to make these games always centered around like world war, human war. Like, again, this is getting out there, but you could have a situation where, like, I don't know, there's like a virus, like a zombie virus, is a virus, this and that, and basically the campaign ties directly into the zombie. I don't know. There is just so much you can do, and I look at what they're actually doing, and I ask myself, do these people not want to make money? I ask myself that for a lot of people. I ask myself that for a lot of people who write, and obviously I'm really into superheroes, right? And just the movies coming out today, and the ideas, other than like the absolute, that's new, that's fresh, but it's like, where's the imagination? Dude, we could have so many cool movies, TV shows, video games. And it sucks. And I know for a lot of you guys who are imaginative thinkers, you're sitting around with your friends and you're coming up with these ideas that trump anything that we have. And it's like, how can I sit here and come up with a better idea than what someone is getting paid billions of dollars by a company to make a game can do? And I don't mean that with the ideas that I put on in this video. Those ideas honestly maybe suck a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's just the idea of putting imagination into it. Put imagination into it, Treyarch. I would love to buy a Call of Duty again one day. And I actually have made no other gaming related videos at all on this channel. If that goes to show how much I actually dislike what is going on with COD right now. I can't overstate that. I mean, it's pathetic. It's almost like it is almost as big of a heartbreak as Destiny 2. I literally had 2,500 something hours on Destiny 1. Destiny 2 comes out. Yeah. That game was terrible. Anyways, that's kind of all I wanted to say today. Honestly, I may make a lot of more... Let me rephrase that. I may, going forward, make more gaming-centered videos, but honestly, there aren't really a lot of games that I grew up playing other than Halo, Call of Duty, and I'm playing a lot of Helldivers lately, but other than that, it's like, I'm not very versed with that. But I have, of course, seen a lot of people talking about Black Ops 7, so I wanted to jump in on that. I just think it's crazy, guys. If you think Black Ops 7 is going to be the last game to use AI majorly in their development, you are sorely mistaken. So get used to it, but also don't, whenever I say get used to it, get to the place where you're understanding that it will happen, but never be okay with it. Always have an issue. Send an email, protest, I don't care. Let these developers know that basically they're firing people, they are getting rid of jobs and using AI, and this AI is doing the crappiest job ever. I would rather have to pay $10 more for Call of Duty each year if I knew for a fact that it was made 100% by humans. I guess that's all there is to it. You guys, I'm going to leave you here. Always remember to be the best person that you can be. And if you ever see anyone that needs help, be sure that you go help them. And, if you yourself have been struggling with anything, I would just encourage you to be kind. And I know you're like, well, I'm struggling. Why would I be kind? I promise you that whenever you're kind and you put that kindness out into the world, it repays you back. I'm very thankful for all of you guys who watch my videos, and I will see you next time. You guys have a good one.